guys aren't making shots the way you did, first it's a two-part question. Was the bigger issue that you guys weren't making shots, but you were generating open shots, or was the bigger issue that you guys, were turning the ball over and, not getting the loose balls? And when you guys aren't making shots, how can you make up a deficit like there was tonight?
I think the biggest thing was we just had a rough night. I think for us to only lose that game by 8, I think says a lot of just about the will. I went 0 of 8. Royce went 0 of 8. Leon went 3. Like the guys who typically make a bunch of threes, we didn't. Mike was really keeping us in it. I think the biggest thing is not to overreact. Sometimes it's not always going to go in. There's going to be nights like this, and they came out ready to go, and they came out locked in. And give them credit too. They came out. Finney Smith had, I think, almost a career high tonight. I give him credit. He didn't shoot it well the first 2 times we played him, but sometimes it's just a make or miss league at times. I don't think any of us too concerned. I think how many turnovers we had? 8. I think we did a lot of good things, generated good looks. Shots just didn't fall, and we just move on to the next one.
Kristen Kenny, Just TV.
When you look ahead, moving on to the next one, like you said, have good nights, bad nights. But does a night like this motivate you as you look forward?
It can. I think that's the group we have. I think that's the focus. I don't think anybody's in there, hanging our heads or nothing like that. I think we understand what's coming up. These are 2 playoff games essentially, 3, coming up. With this one. And then you got Phoenix coming up. They're going to be physical. They're going to be aggressive. It's going to be a hard-fought game. But I think, like I said, this night I don't think it's going to deter us from what we've been doing or what we've been striving to do. But we just got to be ready for the same energy, the same intensity on both ends of the floor with Phoenix, and just be ready for that.
Eric Walden, Salt Lake Tribune.
Don, you said in your first answer that sometimes it's just a make or miss league. Do you feel like a lot of Dallas's? How do you feel about your defense? I guess against the looks that Dallas got, and then how do you feel about your own looks tonight and the defense that Dallas is playing against you guys?
I think there were times we could definitely have improved. Our defense. I got to go back and watch the film to be sure, but from first impression, like I said. The same Dorian Finney-Smith, who, and I'm not ragging on him at all. He's a solid player, a good player, defended me really well. But, the difference was, he had 23. He made shots, like I said. He made shots. I think Jalen Brunson played phenomenal. Obviously, Luka's going to be Luka. But that's really, a big thing. We were there contesting. Rudy was there contesting, and sometimes they just make shots, and I think on the offensive end, for the team, myself, there were times where we forced things, but that's what happens when you don't make threes. You kind of think about it, try and get into the paint, try and do certain things, but stuff that's all fixable, stuff that's not anything to overreact to is kind of where I'm going with that. But like I said, give them credit. They came out there and executed a game plan on both ends of the floor, and that was the difference.
Jim Conlon, RBC Radio, out of Ireland.
Hi. In terms of that game, I suppose things didn't go to your plan. But looking ahead, we have a terrific season there in Utah. So Donovan, I suppose it's all about rebounding in terms of getting back now with a victory. Yeah,
the mindset of not 2 in a row. Just kind of getting back out there. This is a big one. 1 seed versus 2 seed. It's hard not to. We try not to look at those things, but it's hard not to. Understand the magnitude of the game that's coming up, and that's really where it's at for us. I think you kind of flush this one and move on. I don't think, like I said, it's nothing to overreact to. Get our reps up, get our shots up, we'll be fine. There's things we're gonna be able to correct. We'll go out there and fix them and get ready for a tough back-to-back coming up against Phoenix, and then you got Portland coming in back home as well.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right, last one. Follow up from Kristen Kenny.
Real quick, Don, what makes the Suns so good this year?
Book is Book. He's a all-star for a reason. He's been doing this his whole career. You add Mikal Bridges, who, is coming in, locking in as a defender. DeAndre Ayton can do his thing down low. Then you got Jay Crowder, who's a physical presence. Obviously we know Jay. Then you add the mind of CP. You add the mind of CP with the skill of Book. That's definitely you see why they're in second place. And I think that's really an underrated thing with Chris Paul and just his knowledge of the game and putting guys in situations. And then you add their bench unit. They do a lot of things well. They rotate. They're aggressive. They're physical. They hit shots. They're a pretty diverse team. In that way. So I think that's what makes them really talented. And they've done things that they've been doing, but just at a higher level. I think this year, and I think that's what makes them a unique team, and it's going to be fun.
Thank you.
Talking to Don, and he said that tonight's just one of those nights where the ball isn't going in, and pretty much it was you carrying the team and keeping them alive. Just what's your takeaway from a night like tonight when just it feels like not a whole lot is going right for the team in general?
Well, there's going to be games like this, and they're great challenges. They're great lessons for us because when we get to where we're trying to get to in the playoffs and playing these teams that are going to play physical and change up their coverages defensively and have nights where we shoot like we did tonight, like we have to find ways to win anyways, and we have to find ways to push through. And we gave sparks of that tonight where we pushed and pushed and pushed, but just the ball wouldn't fall in the hole. So it's a good lesson for us, and we just got to keep grinding and keep trying to manufacture a way to win when we're not having it the ball isn't going in as easy.
Kristen Kenny, Just TV.
Mike, these are nights where it's important not to overreact on just an off night, but sometimes that's easier said than done. How do you do that as a team, and do you find yourself maybe coaching guys through that at times?
Well, yeah. For us, we're a team that I think over the year has grown a lot in the ability not to get too high or too low, no matter if we're winning 9 in a row or losing 2 in a row or 3 in a row. Like we know not to let that, stick around too long in our minds. We have to continue to move on. We have to continue to learn. Like I said, tonight was a great test, a team that really changed up the way that they played a little bit on us from the last 2 times we played. And we have to move on from it and keep our minds focused on the next task, the next challenge. So I think we'll be fine. I think that, guys understand what we're capable of doing. And we're just going to try to hope to eliminate as many nights like we had tonight and just keep shooting that ball.
Tony Jones, The Athletic.
In terms of, postseason projection, is this week important for you guys, or is it not very important for you guys, or somewhere in between?
Well, I think it's important. I don't think that our season, lives or dies on it, but we do understand that, the way Phoenix is playing, the way Dallas has been playing lately, the way Portland's playing, these are teams that if we want to get to our ultimate goal, we're going to have to beat. And they're playing as good as basketball, as any team in the league. And they're kind of catching their strides at the right time. So, we have to be able to win on the road, in hostile environments. Phoenix is a great place to challenge ourselves there. And then we get back against a Portland team. So it's going to be an important week for us to just, test that barometer, see where we're at, and keep pushing.
Last one, follow-up from Kristen Kenny.
Donovan was talking about Phoenix and having the mind of CP and then the skill of Devin Booker that makes them so unique and tough this year. What, in your mind, makes them so tough to guard that backcourt?
Well, I think, you add a Hall of Famer like Chris to a team with such an elite talent, elite scorer, and Book, and a guy who's, I think Book's taking this game to another level on both ends of the floor. They've really bought into the game defensively as a team, as a unit. They've got great guys, the cast around those two, and they've built that team very well. A playoff caliber team that's going to be, very tough to handle. So when you got 2 stars leading the way, and Chris Paul and Devin Booker, it's going to be a tough night for anybody. So we just have to, watch film, be ready to match their intensity. And we know it's going to be a physical game and a cerebral game with Chris. He's such a smart point guard. So we'll have to go out there and see what we got.
do you come away from tonight worried at all about how things went, or do you just chalk it up to this being a night where a lot of shots for Dallas went in and a lot of shots for you guys didn't?
And obviously we want to win the game. I think when you win a lot of games, you want to come in every night and try to get a win. But I really liked the way we kept playing through the intensity. They started the game really physical. A lot of throwing elbows, a lot of bumping me on every time I walked to the basket, on every rebound. And I felt like we kind of got surprised early on. And starting the second quarter, we raised our physicality, and I really felt like we were playing good defense. And you got to give them credit. They made a lot of shots, and not easy ones. They made a lot of shots. We missed a lot of easy ones. And beside all that, we lose by 8 points. So I think we, to be honest, I really like the way we responded to the physicality.
Andy Larson, Select Tribune.
Rudy, I just wanted to follow up on what we were talking about earlier with your left-handedness versus right-handedness and how kind of that came to be. But I guess because you write lefty but then shoot righty, so why do you do that first of all?
Everything that like ping pong or boxing, everything that's strength, I usually do right-handed, and everything that's kind of a little more finesse, like writing, eating, I do with my left. So I've been doing that since I was a kid, and I'm a little weird. But apparently, there's a few people that are the same, so I'm not the only one.
Do you feel like you're equally good at finishing with both hands, or like around the rim?
I always felt like my left hook was better, but my right, like finishing through contact, my right is better. So I'm kind of, it's a little weird, but I got both hands. I mean, I can finish around the rim with both, and I'm comfortable doing that.
Do you consider, like Mike Conley considers himself ambidextrous and did all those shots in the horse contest with his offhand, right? Do you feel like you're there, or do you feel like it's still your left is more dominant? Depending on what kind of activity it is.
Yeah, it's exactly depends on the activity. I mean, shooting, like if I got to make a jump shot with my left, there's probably like 5% chance that I make it. My right is much higher. Mike can shoot. I can actually shoot with both hands. So I'm not on that level.
Thank you. That's all.
Next up, Jim Conlon, RCB Radio out of Ireland.
Hi, Rudy. I suppose you have numerous victories throughout the year, blowout sort of victories where you have powered past teams. But there's a lesson sometimes you'd learn more in defeat. And I suppose going back now to the training ground and in terms of the basketball training, is there an awful lot to learn from this defeat as well?
I think it's always, we try to learn every night. But I think when you lose, you try to understand why you lost, and you find ways to keep improving. And tonight for us, I think this team came out really aggressive, really physical, and they shoot the ball way better than the average. So it's a great win for them. For us, I think I really like the fact that we kept playing the right way for the most part of the game. We didn't lose our head, and we raised our physicality throughout the game. And if there's one thing that I think we can learn from this game is that we can start the game, with the same level of physicality that they had, and that way, we don't get surprised when teams are, trying to just take us out of what we do and hit us and then push us around. We got to be the ones that do the pushing around, and if we do that, even on the nights when we don't make as many shots, we should be in a position to win.
I suppose lastly from me, Rudy, what did you say in terms of the quintessential there on timeouts in the third quarter, especially when Luka was beginning to warm up and really get hot in terms of to try and curb Doncic's momentum? Because at the end of the third quarter, he really got on a hot streak.
I can't really remember. When Luka is sending contested step backs, You know, the only thing we can do for us is more make sure that we rebound and make sure we make it hard on him. And you know, I think he got hot, but we stayed with it, and we were able to make a little run. It wasn't enough, but you know, I think our focus for the most part of the game and our discipline defensively was, you know, was good. You know, we gave up a few offensive rebounds early that hurt us, but beside that, you know, the rest of the game we played the right way.